I think it's very easy to confuse, when you call someone an engineer, I'm not just talking about people who are someone who builds bridges or software even. I think engineers are people who solve problems and they build things as a result of solving a problem. I have to say, I feel really lucky to be born in this life, in this era. I call it the era of the self-made because there are so many tools now out there that are free, that is available to anybody. There's Instagram, there is YouTube, there is GitHub, there is tools that were never available before. Where before for someone to become a musician or to become a filmmaker or a coder or whatever, they'd have to go to school for 4 years. They'd have to, go through all these struggles to get discovered, make mixtape and hustle to get seen, right? To get seen or heard. And now the hustle is still there, but it's different. It's a different kind of hustle. You don't have to work so hard on trying to get in front of the right people anymore. You just focus on what you love to do. Once I realize the end goal, it's very easy for me to say, hey, if I want this to happen, I need to do this. I struggle with this in the beginning as well. It's like, hey, I want to build a school. How do I go about doing it? How do I get recognition? How do I get people to see me and, see my content? Then I worked backwards and I figured, well, there's this platform, YouTube, it's free. I can just make a video. There's a lot of fear in the beginning, There was a lot of oh, are people gonna like me? Are people gonna like what I have to say? Are people gonna like my content? Am I good enough? When I did it, what I realized was that it was okay to not be everything for everyone. What was important was to realize that at wherever I am at my level, I'm definitely not the best programmer in the world. I realized that I still have something to give, right? Because not everybody's at the same level. There are some people who are still learning, still catching up. Maybe my content will help those people. So I started with that, and then I realized that, hey, maybe I can make some money off of this. I can turn this into a business because, I have way more content than the stuff that I put out on YouTube. So that's when the whole thing of okay, this is going to be a real business. I'm going to build, a school out of this, and that's how the whole thought of finding the thing that was, I love doing it, and it has returns. So this was it for me. I figured this out as I was making videos on YouTube. Being an engineer, it's taught me something. It's taught me that, every day that I'm around, I'm always surrounded by problems, right? Whether it's people problems or math problems or programming problems or whatever, problems are problems. And so, I learned that if I can solve programming problems and I apply the same concepts to life, I could solve anything. If you look at your outcome, the outcome that you want that you don't have yet, as a problem, and you work backwards, right? The same way you solve engineering problems, like commercial problems or whatever, the same way you break it down into smaller chunks and you solve one piece at a time. I think to understand that and to apply that to real life, people used to tell me that I'm not good with people because, they have this stereotype in their head that, engineers and software programmers are not good with people. And that's just a fallacy, I may not be good with people at that point in time, but It doesn't mean I can't figure it out. I mean, I'm an engineer, I'll learn, right? I'll figure out how to do this. And so I applied that to everything. Like, okay, I'm not good with marketing, I'll figure it out. I'm not good with sales, I'll figure it out, right? So to have that, to have this thought in your head all the time that, whatever problem that comes, that you're gonna work towards solving it. And it could be a skill that you're lacking. It could be, like just anything, right? It puts you in a position where you're unstoppable.